Ooh, how's everybody doing? Okay, we're going to go into part two of the moon in Scorpio in a man's chart for women only. But of course, women are gonna mostly women look at it. They look up all four videos, you know. So we have a lot to cover. So let's jump right in. We have the moon in Scorpio, as I mentioned, in a man, but again, like I mentioned in part one, not that much different in a woman's, with a few variances. We're gonna go into what those variances are. Um, the man born with the moon in Scorpio understand the full breadth of emotions from A to Z, and he can detect these emotions in other people. He sees it. He may elect not to do anything about it. It's none of his business. Good luck with whatever it is that you're going through. Don't think for a minute that the Scorpio man or Scorpio moon man, or for the woman for that reason, don't see what you may be going through, what you may be feeling, what you might be experiencing. Oh, they can feel it. And they can feel that in you. They won't empathize with you or for you. Well, maybe they might empathize for you, but not with you. They won't let you know how they feel about you or your situation. If they even care enough to give it a second of a look. If they even care. Remember, they're too consumed with what's happening from within them. They are quite comfortable staying inside themselves. And they become so used to that they might lose a point or two concerning the rules of engagement. And this is often something that we see with this position of the moon. The men born under this constellation or this star, really constellation, don't seem to be aware of social cues, social norms, the rightful ways to even conduct themselves concerning themselves in open society, in open public. This is why these people, the men and the women alike, may feel quite awkward and quite uncomfortable being in crowds. They can't handle the vibrations. They're too sensitive. So by staying inside and barricading even the antennas of vibration that can connect to other people, they remain a world, a bubble within themselves in a crowded room. Oh, you know the feeling. You could be with someone close to you, so both of you be in the same room, and you feel more alone next to that person than if you were actually alone. You've met people like that. I know you have. That's a part of the intensity of the psychological and emotional withdrawal that person has created. He has gone inward so intensely, there's that word again, that he has created a vacuum around him where you feel the emptiness, the void. So intense is this man's withdrawal, psychologically and emotionally, from his environment and from those around him. I gotta take a take for that one. That's the truth, folks. Scorpio moon. So, that lets you know right there that being in a relationship with these men is quite a feat for the woman. The woman that sets her eyes on a man with the moon in Scorpio, or the sun in Scorpio for that matter, she better be a strong bitch. She better know who she is. She better have outside interests. She better have money. She's got to be beautiful and connected and powerful, or he's not going to respect you or care for you. But if he sees the potential in you, He might just take you on, like Ike Turner did with Tina Turner. If you really know the story of those two, you think Tina Turner would have been the Tina Turner that we know today if it wasn't for Ike Turner? Ike Turner destroyed that country girl from humble beginnings down south. Destroyed her completely and remade her into the tough woman. Not saying that she doesn't have her own merit. Of course not. Tina, I love you, Tina. I hope she hears me. Is that it took this intensity of an experience to allow this woman, young Tina Turner, I'm putting it as an astrologer in my head, get her to grow up quickly. Because if I didn't destroy her, the music industry certainly would have destroyed her. Come on. Because we know how treacherous the music industry can be. So we can say that the universe put Ike Turner in her midst and shaped her, molded into shape. Oh God, how he did it. So that she can handle the tough blows of an even more sexist industry. So the Scorpio energy may seem bad, but is it really? It's there to whip your ass into shape. Okay. But damn. That's all I can say. But damn. The way it does it. Damn. But it lets you know that character and ego, none of that is favored. None of that is favored. What's favored is the outcome of such discipline and the intensity of such discipline to tear down somebody, to make something different out of them with their own sharedness, their own pieces destroyed. Somehow they are recreated into something that becomes a powerhouse that will allow them as individuals, with or without the Scorpio person near them, to succeed on their own. You don't need the Scorpio to succeed with you. You can succeed on your own after going through such an experience. So understand that the experience that you are going to go through with someone with the moon in Scorpio is that of a transformative nature. So these men and women are probably barometers and are there to make sure, to ensure that you improve yourself, whether you like it or not, whether you participate in it or not. If you're with a Scorpio, you are going to be a changed human being in the process of being with this individual. And that may be exactly what the universe has in store when they put these people in your midst. Right? So, a word or two about the introspective nature. They're so introspective that they can make excellent criminologists, lawyers, private investigators. You know, people that solve crimes. Okay, they can excel in any position in which they need to, you know, roll their sleeves and get to the nitty gritty. They can make excellent psychologists and excellent psychiatrists, psychotherapists, clinical social workers. They have the ability to penetrate into the psyche of even the most unreachable person. You know who had a Scorpio moon? Annie Sullivan. Many of you may not know who she is, but she was a woman that taught Helen Keller how to read and write, how to eat with a knife and fork and fold a napkin. And if you see the movie with Melissa Gilbert, back in the 80s, The Miracle Worker, the most famous scene I keep telling everybody was that dining room table scene. That was a 1 hour shoot of that scene. And this woman broke Helen Keller down. And it took her a day. But the bitch learned how to fold that damn napkin, didn't she? That's the energy of Scorpio. Annie Sullivan was the Scorpio the universe sent to transform the woman that we now have statues, schools named after. Planes are named after this woman because the bitch learned how to fly a plane. Look at what the transformative nature of the moon in Scorpio did to Helen Keller. She made her, she put her in the map. And we hardly remember Annie Sullivan, the woman, the miracle worker that transformed the life of this poor girl. So understand that the Scorpio energy is fierce. It is the ultimate guns that the universe uses when they want something to change or be destroyed. There is the principle of destruction again in order to bring something anew. And that can also mean the relationship in and of itself. The relationship itself can be the one that will go through the and burn and die. It might need to be the relationship. Right? Um, when it comes to work and romance, we have another situation. And that situation is that because the Scorpio moon person, men particularly, needs an outlet. They need an outlet so they can channel this intense energy that they have. The question is that they don't know how to do it, and they don't trust anyone to teach them how to do it either. So now we have a situation. Because remember, the opposite polarity of Scorpio is Taurus. So the psyche of the Scorpion is not gonna change. And like the hooves into the earth, ain't nothing gonna move that bull. So too can the inner consciousness of the Scorpio moon person cannot be moved either. It's almost like going into an impasse. You have to understand that these people will not think things through more than once. And they don't have to consult you either for the decisions that they make. Even if you are the spouse. Let me tell you, my wife, who was a Scorpio, never consulted me on anything. She acted on her own always. Even when she should have. And my partner today, 10 years. You think he gives me his itinerary or tells me where he's going or anything like that? No. If I don't care to find out, I'll never know. And I never do find out. No. Because you have to understand the person that you're with. And if you are in a relationship with someone that is a Scorpio, as a Scorpio moon, it's gonna take time for you to get to know that person. And you have to give yourself time. You owe that to yourself. So you can better understand this person that you have with you. You know? And better appreciate who he is. Or who she is. Let me tell you. It could take years. Years, you hear me? To win the heart of a Scorpio moon person or a Scorpio, woman or man. It could take years. They don't trust that easily or at all. You know? You might have like a labyrinth to go through before you can reach the heart of a Scorpion. With the moon Scorpion or sun sign. But here's the other thing. The men that are born with the moon in Scorpio vibrate a certain sexuality about them that drives people crazy. The Scorpio doesn't feel this energy that he emits. He doesn't feel it. But every woman and a few gents feel it and are instantly attracted to him. You really don't see this with the Scorpio moon woman. The Scorpio moon woman doesn't emit sexuality. She emits fear of sexuality. Like, don't come over here, boy, because I'll tear you in half. She gives an energy of fear. You fear her sexually. You know she knows more than you do in that department. And she might turn you around and make your eyes roll. And that intensity of pleasure, men might be too scared of, which is why men don't have multiple orgasms. Maybe it's something better that women can handle than us men. So the intensity of this sexual energy is more internal and vibrates as uncomfortability that she gives men. That's why the women born with the Scorpio moon might have difficulty formulating relationships with the opposite sex. They're afraid of them because of this intensity. There's that word again that vibrates from within. And they're not even sure how this is psychologically affecting those around them. Both the men and the women. The men to the intense psychological and emotional withdrawal. And women by vibrating fear of don't get near me or else. You know? This is the same energy but polarized by the sexes. But the woman can be just as much as the moon man, and the moon man can be just as much as the woman. Because remember, a man has an anima, a female side, and the woman has an animus, the male side, as psychologists and people in the psychotherapeutic community are accustomed to using that term. So understand that this is why the nature of the spirit is bisexual. You see this with a Scorpio moon man or a Scorpio moon woman, not in their sexual orientation or sexual behavior. That's something different. But talking about how they can easily shift and morph from a feminine aspect of the inner psyche to a masculine aspect of the inner psyche. It's fascinating how they do this. Fascinating how they do this. The faculty of Scorpio is unlike any other. People faint of heart need not apply. Okay? Now, another thing that I want to talk about is also how the person with the Scorpio moon, man, especially the man, not so much the woman, but the man. And this he causes crisis on purpose to cause people to break down. And then in that breakdown and in that chaos, the Scorpio leaves the group unnoticed. And then the group finds a solution to the problem that they were trying to look at. But the Scorpio had to instigate a crisis and use someone as a fall guy. And then the Scorpio creeps out and leaves. He acted as a transformer. You have souls born under the Scorpio moon or Scorpio sun sign that are born to do just that. They're born to do just that. Now, one thing that I can say about the Earth, the man with the moon in Scorpio, is that he's like the woman. He's very confident. He's very intimidating. He usually has positions of authority. Um, Unlike the Scorpio man, the Scorpio woman kind of like pampers her emotions. Is more pampered and more No, she's more caring about her emotions. The man with the moon in Scorpio doesn't acknowledge his own emotions, let alone will he acknowledge other people's emotions. Right? If he really likes someone, again, he's gonna put that woman to test to figure out what her intentions are and to see if she's real or if she's harmless. You know, he can make you feel right 1 minute and then he'll turn around and be a complete asshole for no reason. And when you see a man act like that, know that he's testing you. He's testing you to see how you react. If you really want to figure out a Scorpio, he likes to see people react. So if you really want to get under his skin, don't react to him or her. The moon is Scorpio. Don't react. Be calm. If they and that'll make them angrier and it'll cause them to lose control. Exactly what they love to do to others, you can reverse it. But here's the thing: you cannot react, and when you are on the path of an angry Scorpio, moon, woman, or man, it's almost impossible. You have to be a real strong motherfucker or bitch. And if you don't have that strength while you are with this woman or this man, trust me, you will develop the strength because that's exactly why they're there for you to develop the strength. And then when you can stand up to them, that's when you pass the test. Oh, it's ruthless. It's ruthless energy for sure. But this is how they can have an understanding what they want to know what you're made of. The man getting a date with the moon in Scorpio is never gonna have a problem. He's never gonna have women. He's always gonna have women all over him. The problem is, will he choose one? He might not, or be serious, or be as elusive, almost wanting the woman to chase him. Okay. Now there is the question of being faithful. Ay, 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 ay. Is he faithful? Is she faithful? The answer, it really depends on her family background. If she was raised in the presence of an unstable father figure, she can end up growing bitterness towards the man in her life. You know, and she can decide not to respect men at all, especially if she was jaded in this way. And this, can have an impact on him or on her, on their love lives, on their relationship. But if she was born with a healthy minded father, or if he was born with a healthy minded father and mother, and saw that they was having a healthy relationship between themselves, that might lend for the Scorpion to maybe act a little more humanely. But it doesn't mean that it will take away from the true nature of who he is. You know? So that's one thing that one has to keep in mind. Uh, for the most part, he's not known for being faithful. She's not known for being faithful. You know. But that is just one of those things that we're not going to know about the moon in Scorpio, woman or man. So if you want to have a relationship with these men as women or women for men, you have to truly, truly study the person, observe the person. I would say do this for 2 years. Observe the person for 2 years. I observed my Scorpio for 2 years until I finally decided yes. Because you have to really know who they are when they are around you and when they're by themselves, and also how they treat you. But then again, that too is a subject of much controversy, even among astrologers. And we are done with this combination.